Hello and welcome our blood viewers to RTD's News English edition. We begin our news with the major and top headlines. Towards the introduction of the new vaccine. And on the international scene, 42 people killed. Those were our major and top highlights. Welcome back to our newsroom, our beloved viewers. Djibouti strengthens its commitment to fighting cervical cancer towards the introduction of the human papillomavirus vaccine. A national workshop on cervical cancer and the HPV vaccine was chaired by the Ministry of Health, Dr. Ahmed Robli Abdillah. The meeting brought together more than 80 health professionals, representatives of scientific associations, and heads of public, semi-public, and private institutions. Organizers described the workshop as a decisive step towards introducing the WHO-recommended HPV vaccine in the Republic of Djibouti. Key participants included Mrs. Safia Elmi, Vice President of the National Assembly, representatives from the World Health Organization, the United Nations Population Fund, and UNICEF, the General Secretary of the Ministry of Health, the General Director of Djibouti University Hospital, the head of the Medical Association, the coordinator of the Cancer Control Program, and the coordinator of the expanded program on immunization. Cervical cancer, primarily caused by persistent infection with HPV, is a largely preventable cause of illness and death among women and reproductive age. The introduction of the HPV vaccine, as recommended by WHO, is considered an effective, safe, and cost-efficient and effective preventative intervention. At the close of the workshop, health professionals committed to supporting a national vaccination strategy by strengthening advocacy with decision makers, community leaders, and technical and financial partners, informing health workers, teachers, parents, and girls about the benefits of the vaccine, contributing to the training of healthcare providers to ensure ethical and effective delivery, combating rumors and misinformation through targeted communication campaigns, and last but not least, working closely with the Ministry of Health and partners to ensure an equitable and sustainable vaccine rollout. The UNFPA representative stated that the introduction of the vaccine in Djibouti represents a major advance for the reproductive health of girls. UNFPA welcomes the government's and health professionals' commitment and reaffirms its support and approach based on right, equity, and community engagement. And the UNICEF representatives said that every child, every girl deserves protection from preventable diseases. UNICEF is fully committed to supporting the Ministry of Health to ensure equitable vaccine access while strengthening awareness, trust, and family acceptance. The Vice President of the National Assembly said cervical cancer is a national priority. This is not simply a public health issue, but a fight for the dignity and rights of women. As representative of the people, she said, "I applaud the Ministry of Health's commitment and call for a collective mobilization to protect our daughters, sisters, and mothers," she concluded. For his part, Dr. Ahmed Robli Abdillah described cervical cancer as a preventable tragedy that affects our mothers, wives, and daughters. He said the decision to introduce the HPV vaccine in the Republic of Djibouti is a strategic, evidence-based choice backed by clear political will. We bear the responsibility to protect future generations through an equitable and sustainable preventative approach. Sheikh Musa Training Center of the National Gendarmerie hosted the closing ceremony of a training course on public order maintenance and restoration on Wednesday morning, 1st of October 2025 at 8 a.m. The 4th cohort of the Gendarmerie Police Unit, preparing to deploy the Central African Republic to relieve the unit currently serving with the United Nations Multidimensional Integrated Stabilization Mission in the CAR, completed the course. Two experts from the French Gendarmerie led this training as part of an advisory mission. The course from September 7th to 1st of October 2025 and covered traditional crowd control and restoration of order techniques as well as aspects related to peacekeeping operations. The closing ceremony, presided over by Colonel Zakaria Hassan Nadan, Chief of Staff of the National Gendarmerie, was attended by Colonel Raphael Garou, Internal Security Attaché at the French Embassy, National Gendarmerie officers, and the French Corporation representatives. The event comprised two parts: a live field demonstration executed by the unit of the attending authorities, followed by presentation of participation certificates to the trainees. The Chief of Staff presented letters of appreciation and commemorative gifts to the French experts in recognition of the quality of the training and their exceptional commitment. The ceremony ended with a traditional group photograph. The Ministry of Women and Family, in close collaboration with the World Bank, organized a training course on trauma and the fundamentals of psychosocial care. This initiative aimed to strengthen the capacities of professionals who work directly with young people, particularly in school settings, to improve understanding and of the consequences of violence and to provide appropriate responses from the first signs. Participants, including teachers and officials from several sectoral ministries, received theoretical and practical instructions on identifying children affected by trauma or post-traumatic disorder and on suitable psychosocial support methods. This course forms part of authorities' plan to establish listening units with educational institutions, middle and secondary schools tasked with detecting cases of violence against children, ensuring early psychosocial care, and reinforcing prevention mechanisms. Through the program, Djibouti seeks to train specialized human resources and develop effective institutional mechanisms to deliver basic support to children and youth affected by the psychological impacts of violence, thereby contributing to better protection and safer school environment. Trade within the East African Community exceeded 11 billion US dollars in 2024, a 20% increase over the previous year, according to the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa, dated 29 September 2025. The growth is attributed to expansion in key sectors such as agriculture and manufacturing, including textiles, chemicals, cement, and pharmaceuticals, which strengthened regional value chains. The report noted that these results demonstrate tangible gains from regional integration driven by shared economic policies, common infrastructure, and progressive regulatory coordination, while enhanced the resilience of the shared economic space. The Commission also highlighted the growing role of the African Continental Free Trade, reporting a 7.7% increase in intra-African trade during 2024. Nambian authorities deployed more than 500 soldiers to support firefighters, police, and volunteers battling a massive wildfire that destroyed about one-third of Etosha National Park, one of Africa's largest reserves. The fire initiated on 22nd September and spread rapidly under strong winds and drought conditions, causing severe environmental damage and the deaths of wildlife, including antelopes. No human casualties were reported. 2 helicopters were dispatched to assist firefighting efforts, and some park roads were closed amid warnings of sudden wind direction change. Official estimates indicate more than 770,000 hectares burned, about 34% of the park's area. The reserve, located in the country's south, north, and covering over 22,000 square kilometers, hosts rare species such as the critically endangered black rhino. The presidency described the fire as a serious threat to biodiversity and local livelihoods, announcing an investigation into its cause and that coral production activities in neighboring farms are a possible factor. The government stressed that climate change has exacerbated wildlife risk and called for international support to combat desertification and protect natural resources. The World Health Organization, WHO, warned that nearly 42,000 people in the Gaza Strip, 1/4 of them children, are currently living with permanent disabilities resulting from the 2-year conflict. According to the WHO, of the 167,376 recorded injuries since October 2023, roughly 1/4 resulted in permanent disability, including more than 5,000 amputations. Severe injuries reported included over permanent to 2002 limb injuries, more than 2,000 spinal cord injuries, around 1,300 traumatic brain injuries, and over 3,300 severe burns. The WHO said these injuries place enormous demand on specialized surgery and rehabilitation services and deeply affect victims and their families. Many will require lifelong rehabilitation. The health system in Gaza is on the verge of collapse. Only 14 of 36 hospitals remain partially functional. Rehabilitation services have fallen to about one-third of previous capacity, and most specialized staff has been lost. 1/8 protest technicians remain to meet the needs of thousands of patients. The WHO also warned of severe psychosocial burdens on a shortage of mental health services, calling on the international community for urgent support to the health sector, protection of medical facilities, unrestricted access to fuel and supplies, and an immediate ceasefire. The people of Gaza deserve peace, this right to health, and the opportunity to rebuild, the agency said. Dubai hosted the 11th edition of the Global Green Economy Summit, attended by international leaders, experts, decision makers, and representatives of economic and institutional organizations. Held under the theme Impactful Innovation, Accelerated a Green Economy Future, the summit focused on major climate challenges and opportunities tied to the transition to clean energy, sustainable finance mechanisms, climate justice, and the role of youth in building an environmentally respectful future. Over 90 member countries of the Global Green Economy Coalition participated. New investments exceeding $1 billion were announced to support innovative environmental projects. 33 initiatives from 24 countries received International Energy Awards for contributions to energy efficiency and environmental innovation. Organizers said that the summit provides a global forum for dialogue and exchange to support sustainable development goals and accelerate international efforts to confront climate change while balancing economic growth and planetary protection. And last but not least, the Silwong River in Jakarta, long considered among the world's most polluted rivers, hosted an environmental and artistic event in which more than 40 inventive boats made from recycled materials such as plastic bottles sailed to commemorate World Rivers Day. This initiative sought to raise awareness about river pollution and to affirm the river's importance to millions of people. Local artists and volunteers transformed waste into colorful boats, conveying a message of hope and sustainability. Organizers stressed that the river protection is a collective responsibility and that simple actions, recycling and reducing plastic use, are necessary for a cleaner, healthier future in a festive atmosphere. The Silwong sent a clear message: saving rivers is saving life. Well, Badis Blood viewers, we finally conclude this edition. Thank you for being with us, and make sure to tune in later for more as usual. Have a wonderful evening, and thank you once again. Take care.